President of the United States, please welcome Vice President Al Gore. And what are you... Well, first of all, let me ask you this question. There's a rumor, I don't know if this is true or not, that some scientists are trying to figure out a way to block the sun to try to slow down global warming.
Yeah, it's a measure of the feeling of desperation that some of them feel.
Are they really thinking they could do that?
Well, some of them are seriously proposing, and I think it's completely nuts.
Yeah.
You know, you put another kind of pollution, sulfur dioxide, up to orbit cover the atmosphere. The sky won't be really blue in the way it is now anymore, but it would block out some of the sun's heat so that we wouldn't have to take the difficult steps to stop spewing all this global warming pollution into the atmosphere. And of course, there are a lot of problems with what they're proposing. It turns out plants need sunlight.
Yes.
It wouldn't stop the acidification of the oceans, and it really should be yet another wake-up call for why we need to stop.
Professor David Keith, welcome to Hard Talk.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you very much for being here. Let's start at the start. What is geoengineering?
It's really two very different things, which have come under the same name but have very little relationship to each other. One is ways that we would alter the amount of sunlight the Earth absorbs, and so cool the planet, partly offsetting the effects of carbon in the atmosphere, and that's called solar radiation management, or in some technocratic way, SRM. And the other one is to take carbon out of the atmosphere, so-called carbon dioxide removal. I'd say the thing that really is unusual and rightly scary is the idea that we can directly alter the climate by reflecting away some more sunlight. And that's scary because we have extraordinary leverage as humans. Our science technology, for better or for worse, has granted us that. So with very tiny amounts of money or effort, we could alter the world's climate by maybe putting these reflective particles, say, in the stratosphere. And that has profound implications, right up to big geopolitical implications.
In that case, do you think it is more exciting, this other idea of solar radiation management, where you try and in some way reflect the sun's rays away from planet Earth?
Exciting, I guess, is the word. I mean, in different ways.
Explain to me, first of all, though, before we get into the pros and cons of it, how solar radiation management might work.
So conceptually, it's simple. The Earth is in some kind of balance where we absorb sunlight and we radiate it away as infrared. And what CO2 is doing by warming the climate is making it harder for that infrared to get out. If you reflect away a little more sunlight by adding reflective aerosols, tiny particles, say, to the upper atmosphere.
And how do you do that?
You could do it with aircraft, for example. The doing it is probably not the hard part, but you could use aircraft or other methods to deliver literally tons or millions of tons of very small particles to the upper atmosphere.
One way, sort of spraying them out at a high altitude.
Correct. And one thing this does is to mimic what volcanoes do, at least in some crude way. So large volcanoes put sulfur into the upper atmosphere, and those